is there.
Okay.
And there's your chair, who is the moderator on the right. So
Okay. And we may be developing a slightly more flexible arrangement in some panels, but we'll talk about that. But it's good to have that hardware there.
So we will have the video to introduce it, as much as anything for the audience who
Oh, yeah.
haven't seen
Oh, yeah.
Thomas.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they'll get a sense of who he is.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, gang. Let's take a deep breath for a moment. Kabir or Camille, would it be okay to open this session if you could lead us in a La Ilaha or a Astaghfirullah, just to...
Let me get the drum.
Oh, sure.
That's more important than my voice. Use the microphone. So one of the beautiful names of God is Al-Hayy. It means the ever-living.
Camille, could you put the mic next to his voice? Yeah, closer so he can say it again.
Oh, yeah.
For the video.
Okay.
Thank you.
So one of the beautiful names of God is Al-Hayy, the ever-living. And life is not merely a biological phenomenon, it's a phenomena of eternity. And that animates us, enlivens us. So I'm going to suggest as a zikr, as a chant, Allah-Hayy. And Allah is not the brand name of God in Islam. Allah is the universal name used by Jews, Christians, and Muslims in the Arabic world, and by Muslims everywhere. And if you understood the concept of Allah as understood in the Quran, even a Buddhist would have to agree with it, because it's something that cannot be conceptualized or turned into a thing or a person. It is the oneness, intelligent and loving, at the heart of reality. Allah-Hayy, okay? If we understand it that way, it may benefit us better. Camille, your voice needs amplification more than mine.
Thank you. So the questions under discussion were how to create a smooth continuity with what the work we've done this morning, which has all been received from the Spirit anyway, to invite the public into it gracefully in a way that we know captures the heart and the real juice that was flowing through the morning container, and holds the space. And I'd like to say from the start that one of the things that sort of emerged as we talked about this is that let's not think about formal titles and boundaries. We've discovered that we can hold good conversations, and so that while we will have people quote, quote, technically assigned to a panel. This doesn't mean that the moderator won't be calling on, if we know what you said this morning, we know who said it, we know who, and, if a moderator wants to say, well, Felina, what's your take on that one? We'll know. So even if you're not officially on a panel, it does not mean that you're not going to be there. Where the game arrangement is to have at least a goodly section of us right up here in the front row as we reconfigure the room, so the moderator can easily find us. We may ask a couple who feel like it to seed sort of farther out so the whole room is included in the field, but you can find your way. The official panelists will sit on the little white chairs, and the official moderator will sit on the little stool, and we'll figure it out, and the audience will crowd close around. But we thought it was very important to start with the panel as it's been addressed and advertised in the beginning about oneness, and Thomas Keating's final ascent to oneness, so we can introduce right into the conversation the notion of the intertwining of oneness as a state of mind, a non-duality or unity consciousness, and oneness as a state of the religions and as a state of the world. So we can get both the evolutionary seed planted and the consciousness seed and the relational field seed planted. So I'll moderate that session, and we thought that as our official panelists, quote, quote, official, we might ask Swami and Kabir and Justin to sit and to contribute a little bit on, from what we've said already about oneness. We were thinking that oneness is a state of consciousness. What's in it? What does it mean? Oneness, this wonderful thing that we fell into this morning about oneness doesn't cancel out diversity, or plurality or specificity, because that's the grid on which love flows. Some of your wonderful stories, Justin, you had to tell about oneness as Thomas himself tried to fit these pieces together. And so our sense would be that, if you take yourself and think about, maybe 5-6 minutes of something that you would say of that, and then I will open the field probably to some of the other invited panelists if you want to contribute some of the things you said, and then out to the floor. So that will be that. The second, which is the big surprise, but it really wanted to be done, is that we see that the real energy in the group, the real discovery was around suffering in selfhood, or suffering in personhood, however we want to say it. And we've asked Kabir to moderate that panel, and to really and it's a slightly larger panel. We'll have to do something about chairs. That we thought that we'd love to hear David and Ted on that panel, along with Felina and Bree, to talk about some of the things that that came up. That Thomas's death was, in some senses unusually hard, and that what really came to us in the group was that it seemed to have this kind of cosmic or universal dimension to it. And then this wonderful, the wonderful talk about suffering as the quicksilver, as the kinesthetic catalytic element in the transformation, how this irony that out of suffering comes life, and this incredible sense of presence and humanity that people saw in Thomas. And if this session sort of can both specifically convey, information and story about Thomas's passage, which of course a lot of the folks in our wider circle will be hungry for, the human touch, not the abstract touch, while at the same time raising this issue, which is complex for people, and a lot of confusion goes up about, are we talking about, what is suffering? Are we supposed to get rid of it? Is it paschal? Is it transformative? All these kind of huge questions that really only from an interreligious point of view can we get a purchase on it. So Kabir is sort of going to shepherd us through that, and again, we know who's contributed to that discussion, and Kabir will call you forward, or you can volunteer yourself forward for that, and then we widened it out. And that will probably cover us through this afternoon session. Then tomorrow's panel will sort of combine the two that were going to be the original 2 or 3 from the original design, the holding the pose panel and the where do we go from here, to talk about moving forward in the world in hope. And we thought, with some awareness of the evolutionary moment, with some awareness of the responsibility that we bring, of the invitation, of the sort of desperate straits of the world, and yet the resources that are there. And we thought that Matthew, we might ask you to moderate that panel, and to have on that as members Rory, Kurt, and Bree, and again with the with the sense that the others of you are meaty. I know that Will, you have a huge amount to say, as you do too, Cynthia, about this moving forward into the world with a sense of hope and connectivity, and I'm sure that's going to come right out in the group. But that will tend to rescue that panel from moving too quickly into, well, what do we do now? Are we going to have a publishing society, or are we going to start a new logo? We don't need to do that stuff tomorrow. So that would be the game plan, and I just wondered how that sets with all of you as a reflection of what we've heard this morning, a way of continuing on.
I wonder if someone else might be a more skilled facilitator or moderator of that panel than myself.
You just want to talk.
Matthew, I withdrew myself from being a moderator.
Oh, I would rather you do it.
And I was thinking, because oftentimes, but you're right, oftentimes a moderator really has to open it up for other people, and you're really articulate, so it also can be kind of an impediment.
I will,
so
if you want me to, Dave, I will do it. But I just wonder if there might be someone with skill at moderation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's all yours, babe.
Mm-hmm.
How about putting Scylla with you?
Pardon?
Suffering creates opportunity.
That's right, Roger.
Yeah. Pardon?
We didn't talk about it. Maybe Will or Cynthia on your
Yeah. Well, we've got. Sure. I mean, I can throw Will on there too on the first panel. About oneness too. That we can. I think we can stand, because people are not long-winded here. That we can put people on, and and it could be that that Cynthia could moderate the morning panel, or you could moderate it, or Bree is a wonderful moderator. But one of the things that was interesting is that Bree, your voice is a wonderful third force between some of these extraordinary reference points that Kurt's bringing in, and the general sensibility of a lot of the people in the group to dwell in the personal and inward. And you've got a wonderful sense of how that bridge connects, because Kurt is bringing some really, really valuable resources that shouldn't be just left flapping out there without people picking them up. So it's a great, that's why one of the major reasons we wanted to see you in that conversation pit about futurity. But we can actually, the moderator for the morning session can stay under development. Everything seems to be given. And Eric, you are a kind of wonderful guy without portfolio. Your beautiful time with Thomas seems to pop in at just the right moments in such extraordinarily strong ways that I would ask that in all the panels that you be up close where we can find you to add the comment, or if you see something coming to, so that rather than being these public performances, I think our goals in the panel are to recap just enough of what went on so that we can invite this incredible resource bank in the audience to become full-fledged participants in this inquiry.
Just a question. It sounded, I may have misheard, but I think the oneness panel was all men.
Yep.
And it seems like having a female voice speaking about oneness would be important.
Don't worry, I'm a female. I'll handle it.
All right.
You know, don't worry. And we'll have plenty of the. Again, there's always that thing. There's a tendency, particularly in our PC environment, to we got to get one woman, we got to get one black, we got to get one Jew, we got to get, and then you wind up having people that don't have chemistry. And I elect from the fact that at the true level, the animus and anima of all of us will shine forth in the right orders. I was noticing that I thought for about 2/3 of the way through that only the guys were going to talk, and then when things broke open in the suffering and selfhood panel, we got 4 brilliant teachings by women in a row. And sometimes the dynamic shape is what needs to be found. Okay, are we good? Heather?
Logistics?
Yeah.
Okay. So at this point, will you all shuffle downstairs where your lunch will be ready or nearly ready? And can you take with you everything around you so there's nothing on the floor, even if it's not yours? And please, will you be back here at 1:50, 10 to 2? Take a reserved seat at the front if you want, or if you want to do what Cynthia suggested of finding a spot somewhere else, if you feel inclined, do that. But if you're in the room at 10 to 2, ready to go. Thank you.
I just want to emphasize something that Cynthia said. They're so-called panelists to get things rolling. Then there's everybody who's here that is prominently in the front row. So to enliven the conversation, right? So it's going to be up to the moderators to do that, to draw on everybody as appropriate during the time, so that it really is inclusive. You have certain folks that are get the thing going, but it's going to end up including everybody. That's the spirit of it. Yeah.
Perfect. And since this is the last time now that we will be together as just this smaller leaven in the lump, I can only express my gratitude, and I think gratitude goes to God, for the gifted, brilliant, honest, loving contributions of each one of you, that I think at an informational level, information got turned up that none of us knew before. Some of it was brand new for the first time, and so we've done some good inquiry. I think the balance between head and heart was stunning, between the personal and the theoretical, between the practical and the inward. It's as Kathy McCarthy always loved to say, well, the right people are in the room. So thank you for your devotion to Thomas and to the future and to the post that made this possible. Rory?
Is this the last time we're in this circle? Is everything public from here out?
Yeah, from here on, the public will be a part of our life.
Tomorrow too?
Yeah. When we go out to the monastery, it will thin back out again, but there'll be some public that will come out, and so
after our last panel tomorrow, those of us who are going to go to the cemetery we're arranging rides for everybody that don't have cars, and a bunch of you have cars, so we can share. You can load people up, and then we'll go out there and probably get there at 1:30 and end around 3. So we'll be together then. And then after that, it's kind of, some people will clump into friends they want to hang out with. Some people may want to go to sit outside at the music festival on the lawn and listen to some music. So we can figure that out, say, when we're out at the seminary, at the monastery, to figure out sort of who's going to clump up and what we're going to do afterwards. Yeah.
And I should probably let you know, since this is the last chance around, that I'm going to be departing before the last panel tomorrow because I have I've got to have eye surgery on Tuesday morning. So I'm going to have to take a red eye home on Sunday night, and I have to leave in time to deal with the hells of the Denver, the ride back to Denver. So don't think that I've abandoned you all, but I just wanted you to know that as you factor it in advance.